If you know Vontaze Burfict, you may find this play extremely satisfying. Why is it satisfying? A defenseless player taking a big hit? What's wrong with you? Well, meet who was once the most hated player in the NFL, Vontaze Burfict. Many firstly found the hit satisfying because it's revenge for what he did to Antonio Brown. As you can see in this clip, it's a pretty brutal hit. But the thing is, Burfict had done this many a time. It's just who he is. Many may yearn for the old school style of defensive play of years gone by, but does Vontaze Burfict actually represent this style? He's violent, arguably borderline psychopathic. One may argue players like Dick Butkus and Jack Lambert had reputations as not just hard hitters, but people who punished. Butkus once said, "I sometimes have a dream where I hit a man so hard his head pops off and rolls downfield." I'm not sure where Burfict sits on the spectrum, but the league has definitely changed from when these guys were around. Burfict was an extremely unpopular player and seemed to take things a step too far. Over his career, he missed 22 games due to suspension, and that equated to $4.6 million in lost salary and $411,000 in fines. Growing up, he had some close calls. At 4 months old, he caught rotavirus that almost killed him. That's a disease that causes inflammation of the stomach and intestines, which young children can get. He was hospitalized for a month and a half. At age 3, he burnt down the family apartment with a lighter by mistake and barely got out. And at 13, he was in a car accident with his mother. A truck sideswiped them and pushed the car over a cliff. Somehow they were okay though. Burfict's father was a gang member and convicted for dealing cocaine, and he's had no relationship with him. His mother was a city transit bus driver and raised Burfict and his half-brother alone until she remarried. They eventually moved to Corona, California, where Burfict attended high school. Burfict had been bigger than his peers from birth, coming in at 10 pounds. Even in a pickup game, he would take it too far. His uncle would tell him, "Vontaze, calm down. We're playing with friends. You don't have to knock them out of the game." However, I'm not here to explain why he is this way. Nobody can answer that. But what I can tell you is that he was causing problems as early as high school. Here's a tackle where he seems to go after the knees of the quarterback, who would later call him a dirty player. At Centennial High, Burfict was a part of the undefeated team that won the CIF state championship, and he led the team with 159 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 interceptions. He would miss most of the sophomore season due to academic problems, but he would return as a junior and again lead the team with 130 tackles, as well as 4 sacks and 2 interceptions. He was ranked a 5-star recruit by Rivals.com and Scout.com and was listed as the #1 inside linebacker prospect in the nation. He would enroll at Arizona State University in 2009. By the end of 2009, he had 69 tackles and a pair of sacks. He was also named Pac-10 Defensive Freshman of the Year. But in October 2010, the problems would resurface again. He would be benched after this play where he headbutts the quarterback. Despite this, he finished the season with a team-leading 90 total sacks and 2 forced fumbles. The Sporting News selected him to their All-American team, as well as Pac-10 Defensive MVP. His 2011 season was a down year, however, and he finished with just 69 total tackles and 5 sacks. His coach would say, "He got carried away. That's how he is, but he's got to be smart, and I know he will." He was wrong though. He could not control himself. At Arizona State, Burfict was benched multiple times because of his tendencies for racking up personal fouls. In 37 games, he committed 22 personal fouls and was benched many a time. For example, here's a late hit in 2011 against Oregon, and here's another dirty hit with a helmet to helmet. He also had clear character problems and could not take accountability for his actions. When discussing his poor performance in his final year, he said, "I thought I played average last year. I should have played better. Coaches kind of messed me up. I didn't know if I was going to start a game, didn't know if I was going to be benched. It hurt me. I tried to fight through it." This was not true, and he was benched many games because of his actions on the field. But you can see it's a bunch of finger pointing. Despite the down year, in 2011 he would declare himself for the draft, and he was considered by many to be a first-round pick. But the inconsistent junior year and character concerns caused his draft stock to tank. His combine performance dropped him even further, and he was, quote, "not good in position drills." His 5.09-second 40-yard time and broad jump was the slowest of all linebackers, and he finished second to last among linebackers in the vertical jump. He would also fail a drug test before the combine, and all this would lead him to going undrafted. He was picked up by the Bengals as an undrafted free agent. In his first year, he had an immediate impact, leading the team in tackles with 127, and no incidents. But then in 2013, he would revert to his normal self, amassing 3 fines that year. Here is a rap sheet from his time in the NFL. September 2013, fined $10,000 for striking an opponent in the groin and an additional $21,000 for a hit to a defenseless receiver in the same game. October 2013, fined $21,000 for spearing a receiver. October 2014, fined $25,000 for twisting the ankles of Panthers QB Cam Newton and tight end Greg Olsen. December 2015, fined $69,000 for 2 unnecessary roughness penalties and diving at Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger's knee. January 2016, fined $50,000 for hitting a defenseless receiver on the chin. And then you have the most infamous and arguably most vicious hit. He was suspended 3 games and forfeited $500,000 in salary for a headshot to Antonio Brown. And that's what led Juju to retaliate with this hit in a later game. In October 2016, he was fined $75,000 for stepping on Patriots running back LeGarrette Blount. In November 2016, fined $12,000 for giving the middle finger to Bills fans. In 2017, he was suspended 3 games, which was reduced from 5 for a hit on a defensive player. October 2017, he was fined $12,000 for kicking an opponent. March 2018, suspended 4 games for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. October 2018, fined $112,000 for multiple examples of unnecessary roughness in a game against the Steelers. In December 2018, fined $53,000 for lowering his helmet against Broncos fullback Andy Janovich. And then September 2019 was the final death blow, but we'll get back to that. He admitted he played dirty against the Steelers, but this is a load of nonsense. We can see plenty of cheap shots against other NFL teams. It was not just the Steelers. And I think in part he got away with all this for so long because he was enabled by his team. Take a look at this. It's a non-tackling drill. Burfict tackles Giovanni Bernard, who had suffered a torn ACL the season prior and was now returning to training camp. The running back coach runs in and you see the rest. Look, scuffles in training camp aren't a smoking gun. They do happen, but I think this case is telling to the broader point of how the team put up with this nonsense as long as he was productive. And he was productive. He was second team All-Pro and made the Pro Bowl in 2013 and had a good career with the Bengals. You can see that the head coach, Marvin Lewis, did not get involved, despite Burfict striking a coach. Once it's over, he sends him off the field, but many other teams would have fined him, maybe even suspended. It's not necessarily to draw attention to this specific incident, it's the broader issue that it highlights, with his repeat offences and lack of accountability. The final blow for his career would come in 2019 with the Raiders. Week 4 against the Colts, this helmet-to-helmet hit on Jack Doyle led to an ejection. The league then suspended him for the rest of the season without pay. The previous record for the longest suspension for on-field misconduct was 5 games for Albert Haynesworth in 2006. He would be reinstated at the end of 2019 and become a free agent in 2020. While he hasn't declared his retirement, he hasn't returned to the league to the pleasure of many. Alright, thanks for watching.